All right, so this is going to be more of a lifestyle and kind of what's going on video. So if you are not interested in me as a person, just go. See yourself out. Don't stress. So I've been working on Words of Power for a long time. And at the end of last year, the game was still called Quantum Hands. And we tried to run a league-style series of games over many months that would give you points, and then there was going to be a winner. It was going to be a whole thing. You'd get written into the lore, but basically only one guy showed up. He showed up for one game one time. So it was a bit of a failure. As a result of that, confidence shattered. I skipped out on Season 2 this year. And instead, we are making these videos to try to drum up some interest before we go into Season 2. But I wanted to lay out the roadmap for what is the vision? What are we even doing here, right? So the goal for me is to be able to play Words of Power all the time on the internet for funsies. I am recently quit both my jobs, and I will very soon be totally unemployed. We can afford it. It's great. Don't worry about that. But it gives me time. I have a ton of time to just dump into a project. And right now, Words of Power is the only project. So we're doing that. I want to kind of go through the website and show you like what exactly is it that I'm going to work on, or that I have been working on. Where is it all going? Right. So the rulebook is an exported Zim wiki. It's the up-to-date version of everything that we're talking about in the videos, and it's got the storytellers guys can tell you how to kind of run the game. So that I am pretty happy with. Some of the more mechanical rules for combat just need to be tested like a lot. Everything needs to be tested a lot. It's all untested, so it's my best first guess, but I really want to develop it iteratively with people playing it and kind of, make it good instead of a best first guess. So this rulebook is how things stand right now. It was not last updated 06/12/2023, but that's okay. So I need to get a lot of games going with people playing different kinds of characters if I want to like playtest the dual wield rules and the movement and initiative and how to run the game, what's too slow, what kills the pacing, what's actually a problem for game flow. In addition to needing to run a ton of games, I have some level of experience running Dungeons and Dragons games, running a role-playing tavern in Ultima Online, but I haven't actually run a game in like a decade. A very long time since I have role-played seriously. So I'm not a very good game runner, and I need to run a ton of games. So whoever joins, right, has to suffer through a bunch of poorly run games. And as a result, they need to really be invested in the project in some way. So I guess that's my goal with this video, right? So yeah, I'm going to take you to the secret side portion of the website. Do a little quantum here. And what we're going to get is the companion app, which is kind of an app that has a character sheet built in, has the battle board built in. It's very janky. It's very bad. I made it in Godot. I did no effort to make it resize automatically or anything. At the time, I was working on a video game, and so I just needed to fill my time with coding. Like, my fingers wanted to move. So the current iteration of this is balls. It sucks. I'm going to rebuild it into a web page. Probably. It's a lot of work. I don't know JavaScript, so that will be a whole side project that exists. But in order to justify that, I need players. There's no sense in doing it before we have players. I have the Windows download up because everyone is a Windows plebeian, but the Linux version exists. I'm on Linux now. So that's another thing that we're working on, another project. We're going to talk about what was the plan back then. So we had this quest board up, and you'll see that each of these quests is numbered, number 0, number 2, number 5. It's got who's giving the quest. It's got the kinds of rewards you can find. It's got a little description, and it's got extra rewards down here. So the plan was to have a guild hall where people could just drop in, take quests together, form a little group, do a one-shot, and exist in a continuous world without actually needing to interact, right? We had one guy take a quest, and we had one get abandoned because nobody showed up. So that's kind of where we ended up the entire season. So there was a Discord bot that let you take quests, that would create a private channel, and then from there you could make your group. It was a whole thing. We had lore for the whole season 1. Not super jazzed with where it's at right now. We're going to rewrite all the lore for season 2. And season 2 is where I'm going with this. So I want to have a weekly open game. A game where anyone on the internet can drop in, be like, hey, I want to play today. And then join the game, play the game, and then not need to stick around for forever. No signing up, no downloading things, no making accounts, just show up, play, stay if you want to, go if you don't. And I want there to be a consistent static space where you can go to get Words of Power gameplay. So the plan is to every Sunday at 2 Central, to run a game on Discord. So the conundrum that I have is text, voice, or virtual tabletop. Text is my preference, and it's got the lowest barrier to entry, and it's most in line with the philosophy of the game, which is low overhead. But it has some problems. People get distracted, people are bad at typing, people are embarrassed about their spelling, people type slow, and other people get bored. I don't mind, but I know a lot of people do. So we could do voice, but voice excludes everyone that's not comfortable with a microphone, or has a bad microphone, or a loud background, or a shitty living situation that they're trying to avoid by playing the game and everyone's listening to it. I want Words of Power to be a place where you can just go to have fun with friends. I don't want to bring the real world into it. If you want to play a lady character and you've got this big beefy man voice, it can be a little immersion breaking. But it's an option. It's very easy for some people. And then virtual tabletop is kind of like the nuclear option that I would honestly just prefer to set aside for other games, not the weekly open, right? Like we could play a normal campaign in a virtual tabletop. We could do league games in a virtual tabletop. But for the weekly open that is used for onboarding new players, I would think that we need to go either voice or text. I need opinions on this. If you have opinions, leave them in the comments, because it's going to shape what we end up doing once we get that critical mass of people who want to play. So that is step 1, right? Get the weekly open going, rolling, so that at least one person shows up and we just play some Words of Power. We get some dev time so we can actually work on the rules, right? And then once we work on the rules a bit, then we know how we want to rework the companion app. And from there, it kind of, goes into a league naturally. And what I want to do for the leagues is 3 months on, 3 months off. So I will write up the state of the world, the lore, and kind of the major NPCs, the gist of what's happening in the world. And then people will schedule games, quests, to take place in the world with different players. It doesn't have to be the same group every time, but it can be. And they will do their quest, and I will alter the lore for the next person that does the quest, right? It'll be a continuous world between multiple groups. And at the end of the season, we'll have a big lore moment. We'll have, some kind of rewards for the most active players. And just everyone will have a good time role-playing is the goal of the season. And then we'll take 3 months off. We'll take a break. Nobody needs a burnout, especially not me. And we'll write some new lore that advances the world. and everyone come back with new characters and do it again. That is the dream. That is the goal. And if that goes well, right, if you come to the opens and then you come to the quests and you kind of do like league games, then eventually I'd like to have some consistent standalone campaigns going with more detailed characters and more specific settings, right? Like we could do a Final Fantasy Tactics world game. Like we just run a campaign like that for funsies. We could do your favorite MMO world roleplay for funsies. Like these are things that we could do long term with a good group that we know knows the game and gets like the roleplay part. So that's where I'm going with all this. Is I hesitate to use the word community, but a roleplay community where we're all just having a good time. We all focus on the narrative and the characters. There are other open role-playing places, like Dungeons and Dragons has regular events for new players, but they tend to focus on the mechanics more than the story and the character that you made. I really want a place where you can just go and have a good time with none of the overhead and stress and continuity issues, none of the like upfront work. Just make a cool character, participate, and have a good time. So yeah, there will be more coming over the next few weeks. I'm going to finish the introductory videos. I'm going to start working on lore for season 2. I am going to hopefully start streaming Wednesday prep for the Sunday open. Sunday, 2 p.m. Central is when I'm planning to do the open games in Discord. Currently through text, I don't know, leave me comments, I need to know. But Wednesday sometime, I'm not sure when yet, we're going to be doing the preparation stream for that. So if you want to play in the Sunday game, I would recommend skipping the Wednesday prep. But if you just want to hang out and talk, game mastering or whatever, then Wednesday streams preparing for the Sunday game. So yeah, thanks for taking the time to try and see the vision, try to see what we're doing here, and that it's more than just buy my thing, right? I'm not selling anything. I just want us to have a good time. Have a great day.